inflation rate like this. Inflation basically means that there is a general increase, general increase in prices, in overall prices. Now, what is the rate of inflation? RBI measures through two mechanisms, that is consumer price index and wholesale price index. Now, this consumer price index is a basket of goods and services, is a basket of goods and services that each and every person as a consumer would require to sustain. Whereas wholesale price index represents, you can say, the business owners, the retailers, or you can basically say not specifically retailers, then definitely the producers or the manufacturers. So wholesale price index definitely reflects the kind of price that manufacturer is providing to the retailer, ultimately to the seller. So this definitely represents the industrial rate, or you can particularly say industry. Now, when there is a general increase in overall prices, what could be the factors that ultimately lead to general increase in prices? So factors could be general increase in prices could be understood by demand of law of demand and supply. Now this law of demand and supply also has an effect in overall price. The question is how? If demand of a certain product increases, if and the supply is limited, all right, what would happen? More people are there ready to buy, but the supply is limited. Definitely you can imagine a bidding scenario, so prices will go up. If there is a sudden demand decline, demand decline and supply is adequate, and supply is adequate, what will happen? Demand, there are no more people ready to buy, but supply is adequate. What will happen? Prices will fall down. So, less people ready to buy, but abundance, or you can say adequate supply. But what happens? What happens when demand is also down and supply is also down? What would then happen? If demand is down, fewer people to buy, supply is also down, fewer products to buy, naturally you will see that there is a sustained increase in price. Now, this becomes the most deadliest situation for any economy. Why is that? Why does it happen? Why it is very dangerous? This is dangerous, but why? The answer is very simple. You see, ultimately, our economy depends on flow of money. When the money is very much, you can say, narrowed down, that people have sufficient to spend and sufficient to buy, ultimately the cycle of money is potent and is regulated well. But if people have more money to spend, it also has an, you can say, an effect on the law of demand and supply, because ultimately the purchasing power or the capacity of a consumer to consume reflects what is the state of the present economy. Consider a state for India. It is an emerging economy, which means that the level of income, that level of income of every people should grow. Ultimately, this would lead to rise in demand because the capacity to spend is adequate. Now, when the demand increases, naturally, you see the production will also increase as incentive to business to produce more, grow more, manufacture more, and ultimately the supply would also increase. This is the ideal situation that the government and Reserve Bank of India tries to maintain by two ways. So you can say the two ways are monetary policy and the other is the fiscal policy. Because government also needs money to govern, money to regulate. So fiscal policy is related to tax rates and monetary policy is related to flow of credit in the economy. But this is the ideal situation or a static situation of economy. Now coming back to the topic, why demand decrease and supply decrease is very much dangerous. Because at the very same time government has two-fold challenges. Eventually, if the government faces one kind of challenge at one point of time, it is easier for them to revise their policies, which can be to an extent accommodative towards one aspect and you can say segregating to another aspect. But here, if the government has to work on the demand side, if the government has to work on demand side, what will happen? We need to understand why is there a decline in demand. It is because the situation is very volatile in the economy. People have no proper income, less money. People already have less money. Now people have less money to spend. When people do have less money to spend, they will only buy essential products. Only essential products shall be consumed. Since people have less money, they would focus more on savings. Savings will be increased. And ultimately, when people are not participating in the flow of credit or flow of money in the market, what will happen? The person selling will not be able to sell as much. Again, it will in you see, as a result, it will lead to loss of income, loss of income for seller. Now, in return, what happens? Loss of income of seller, which means the seller is not able to make profit. He is unable to reach out to industries to buy more products to sell. Ultimately, the manufacturers are not getting proper money, adequate money, and overall, you will see that this will capitulate, or you can say this will catapult the decrease in demand and it will capitulate the economy. So, which means that somehow the government needs to work on increased spending. How can government ensure increased spending? Government does that by reducing tax rates. Reducing tax rates. So, by reducing tax rates, you see, spending will be increased and ultimately demand would be increased. But at the very same time, but at the very same time, the government is facing one more challenge. What is that challenge? What the challenge could be? In this, you will find that government also needs to increase the supply. Government also needs to increase the supply side. How will the government do so? Government will incentivize manufacturers, incentivize manufacturers. Now, government once will incentivize manufacturers by giving them lesser tax rates. Uh, Ultimately, this may lead to an increase in production. But this is again challenging when import pressure is there. Now, import pressure on crude oil is ultimately leading to increased excise duty, and increasing excise duty is ultimately leading to increased cost of production because whatever you produce has to be transported through various, you can say, transport routes, and ultimately they consume crude oil, petroleum product, and there are a lot of industries also dependent on petroleum products. Ultimately, this increased excise duty will increase the prices, and ultimately you see we fall back to square one, that is same situation. So what, no matter whatever amount of tax reduction you do, or whatever amount of you can say you see money control you take, you cannot ensure that this will go like in a day. So how it is accommodated? Understand very simply that Reserve Bank of India focuses on less savings. Now, when the Reserve Bank of India focuses on less savings, how does it do that? It reduces the return rates on your accounts, whatever amount. So you tend to spend a lot of money on essential products, and ultimately that spending leads to increased demand, and then increase in demand will slowly lead to increase in supply, as the producers or the manufacturers will feel a sense of confidence in the market, that ultimately they are going to get returns howsoever slow or minuscule they might be. It is also accommodated by the fact that government has reduced, you can say, tax rates. So the only impending pressure, external pressure we have is for the commodities we import, and crude oil is definitely one of them. So the recovery would be very slow, but it would be a sustainable recovery. But if ultimately what happens, the perishable products, you can say the consumer products, because you see in our consumer price index, in the basket of goods, food is very important. It is by far the largest percentage in that CPI, which is food in the world. So largest quantity is food. This all needs to be kept in mind. If the production goes down due to certain, you can say, phenomena or events that are not in the control of the government or for mankind, and production declines of food price, again the prices would go up, supply would go down, demand would be proper, and this will again will bring us back to the perilous state. So this is what is happening in the current times, and that is why Reserve Bank of India is not changing the repo rates and the reverse repo rates. The Reserve Bank of India is now also asking the central banks, other banks, national banks, to provide more credit on increased, on decreased, you can say, interest rates, so that people will have more money to spend, which will ultimately lead to boost in demand. So, keeping all these things in mind, you can understand how both the rule